Hello, and welcome back to the show. Now, today, what we're going to be talking about is designing your week. And we are going to go through the 7 areas that should be on your calendar or your team's calendar every single week from the day you open your doors to even when you are no longer in your business anymore. So let's dive straight in. Number 1 is, of course, morning routine. Now, the reason that this is so important is that it really filters and preps your day to go into it calibrated with what you want to achieve for the day. So when we do a morning routine, what happens is it's almost like resetting the filter so that any decisions that we make throughout the day, the way that we spend our time, the way that our energy is expended is all decided by us and not just pulled to and fro with the powers that be, right? Family, friends, emails, clients, team. And when we design our morning, it really does ground us in what we want to achieve for the day rather than be on the time schedule for everyone else's priorities. Now, for me, what that means is getting quiet. So I wake up before my family does and I journal. So I do morning pages, which is just 3 pages of journaling, just to, what is it called? A stream of consciousness. That's what I'm trying to remember. Stream of consciousness thinking. Often what happens in there is I'll have a question that comes out. So I might do some research at the time. I might start actually acting on whatever comes up. So if I think, oh my gosh, I have to, today we're doing this, I might actually begin to think strategically in there. I don't put rules around it. All I know is that I have to put pen to iPad, as it is for me, for at least 3 pages. And I don't really care what that looks like. Some days it's really personal. Some days it's working through something. Some days it's research going backwards and forwards through ChatGPT or looking at Instagram at something or, reading through files that I've saved, whatever. So that is the first thing for me. Also, I have a faith that's really important. So that will go potentially in that phase or directly after. And something that I've talked a little bit about on the podcast before, but not a great deal, is the Life GPS. So what this is, it's a 2-page document that really details the exact person that I want to be in first active person. So it's like I'm already there. And I talk about health in there. I talk about wealth. I talk about relationships. I talk about business goals. Everything that I want for my life is literally distilled into this GPS. Now, this comes from John Mitchell's Think It, Be It process. He has a book that he released last year on this, and now you can actually do this process for yourself. And I teach this to my higher level clients, and we really dive deep here, but it goes deep on the neuroscience, and he will go through that in the book if you have a look at the book. But really what this does for me is, like I said, the filter. So it says things like, I give my husband 2 compliments a day. I remember people's names and I use them, like all little things around the person I want to be. It talks about the meals that I will allow myself and won't. It talks about the relationships with my children. It talks about literally everything. And I read this every day. It takes 12 minutes and that is in my morning routine. For me, it's that filter. So then later, if I realize it's dinner time and I haven't given my husband a compliment, then I'm looking for a opportunity to do that. Or I, will just go and reach out and be a bit more affectionate. So it's just around how I be super intentional in my life so that I'm being the person that I really want to be. And the difference between when I started doing this in 2022 and now is that I've decided, 1, who I want to be in all of these areas, and 2, because I'm telling myself I do these things every morning, if I don't, I feel out of alignment, and so I do them. This has really helped me to cement in the habits that I want in my life, in every phase of my life, and made every single area of my life really intentional. So if you want to know more about that process, then feel free to DM me and I can point you in the right direction and give you more info on how to do that for yourself, because honestly, it is completely life-changing, and I don't say that lightly. So that's morning routine. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into exercise because we know that our human bodies are made to move, and the difference between when we do move and when we don't, and our capacity and our capability and our longevity and our energy and all of that is just exponentially improved when we exercise. So please, please, please move your body in whatever form that is for you. Move your body every day. We want strong bodies, so we have strong minds, so we have strong businesses, and we can be who we want to be in the world. All right, number 2. Actually, look, it's exercise. Okay, we are diving in. Let's dive in. So I don't know if you know, but I'm actually a qualified personal trainer with a diploma level qualification. So I did this initially more than 15 years ago, around 16 years ago. And I had this flash of inspiration that I could help brides who were getting ready for their big day and wanted to look great in their dress. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to become a personal trainer and I'll do that on the side. Now, that's what I did. I trained my own bridesmaids and I then pursued other things. And for around about nearly a decade, I did personal training of different sorts alongside my normal job that I loved. And so what I learned in that process was exactly how much our bodies are made to move. I worked for Fernwood Women's Gyms and I ran their training company, and I taught other personal trainers how to be personal trainers. And in that process, in the research there of actually meeting women within Fernwood and refining the process and all of that, I spoke with a lot of people who had women who had breast cancer. And what they would say to me was that when they exercised, even when they were going through chemo, that they felt their energy rise, and that I really learned both in theory and in practice that when we move, we recharge our batteries. And it's contradictory to what I thought before then, which is we have lots of energy in the morning, and as we move, we run down that energy battery and we need to sleep. Actually, what happens is that we can gain more energy, we feel more energetic, more like moving the more that we move. And if you apply that in a business context, why would we not want more energy? Why would we not want to feel our best? Now, I used to talk a lot about the concept of the $1 million racehorse. Now, I did not come up with this concept. I don't remember where I got it from, but there is an analogy about $1 million racehorse. People who do have a racehorse are giving this racehorse everything they could possibly need to perform its best. So they're setting it up to have amazing sleep. They are giving it perfect nutrition. They are training it accordingly to what they would like it to do. It is getting really cared for. Now, if we apply that concept to ourselves and us as a business owner who would like to earn $1 million or whatever it is you'd like to earn, often we don't think about our performance in that way. We might work really late at night, drink too much coffee, drink too much wine, not exercise because we don't have enough time. So we're really not treating ourselves like that $1 million racehorse. And so our performance might actually reflect how we're treating our bodies. If you are not prioritizing your health and you're not moving your body every day, and for everyone that's going to look different, I believe that you are going to see the results of that both in your energy, in your stamina, and in your results. So really, I encourage you. Now, this episode's coming out in early Jan, so this is the time when everyone is often looking at their habits and things like that. I encourage you to set a goal for yourself to move your body every single day. That is my goal for myself, and sometimes that means 10,000 steps and an hour workout, and sometimes it literally just means I'm stretching my body out because I'm tired or I'm sore or whatever. So really listen to your body, but move every day. I promise you will see the difference. All right, number 3, thinking time. Thinking time is something, again, I got from John Mitchell, Think It, Be It, and it has been the catalyst for so many incredible changes in my business. So I've spoken about this before on the podcast. We've done a podcast episode on it, but basically in a nutshell, what it is it's putting 30 minutes on your calendar twice a week. You go into that 30 minutes with a question, a very specific question, like, how can I get more followers on Instagram, or who is the next hire in my company, or what am I going to do about the scope creep with this client? Any question that you are pondering or should be pondering, you go into that one session with one question. Now, the first 5 minutes, you are doing what we talked about for the morning pages, which is just writing on the paper quickly your stream of consciousness. Like, I like to think of it as you're running the water out of an old tap. So, you know, some of those old country taps you would run and it'd be like the brown, dirty water first before it clears out to be the nice fresh water. That is what we're doing. We're just kind of writing whatever headspace we're in. I don't really feel like thinking time right now. 5 minutes, stream of consciousness. Don't worry about it. Once you've got that out, you've cleared the dirty water, you've got whatever is going around your head from that day out on the paper, you then ask yourself the question. You ask yourself the question that you have for that day, and you write for 20 minutes on that question. It could be, I don't know what to do, maybe I could do this. Wherever your mind takes you, you are thinking about that question in real time. You are writing down what you are thinking. That's all. There's no like, am I doing this right? I'm trying to solve this. You are writing. Yes, you can stop and actually think, as long as you're actually thinking about that question. You are not getting distracted in this process. You are staying focused on the question as best as you can. So that's why I try not to have too many breaks. I just try and keep writing. It helps keep me focused. And I have a timer. I have a 20-minute timer. Once the 20 minutes is up, you're going to look back at your notes. You're going to highlight anything that's really important. And you are going to come up with 1 to 3 action points that you have come up with for yourself in relation to that question. Maybe it's just do more research on this. Maybe it's speak to this person, send this email, whatever it happens to be. You're going to get those 1 to 3 action tasks and put them on your calendar as to-dos, on your actual calendar. Because if you don't put it on your calendar, it's not worth doing. And maybe you can do it right then and there, right? Maybe it's just an email you have to send off and done. That is thinking time, and it is so powerful because everything that we need is actually in here, and sometimes we just don't actually stop long enough and allow enough white space to let any of that come through. So I really hope that I really encourage you to input this into your week, even if you can only do it once a week. It is so powerful. It is so powerful, and you will be amazed at what comes up when you get really focused on one specific question and you do this process in this way. There's lots of articles and things around this process, but this is the way that I do it. All right, number 4, you will want to have a writing block on your calendar. Now, I say this because likely you and your company are doing some sort of content creation. And even if you have a team, this writing should really come from you in some way. If you are a leader of your company, you want to be a thought leader. You want to be a visionary. So a writing block in your calendar can become content, can become emails, can become really anything. But it means that you are thinking and you are leading with your thoughts if you have this process there. Now, if you are creating all of your content, then fantastic. You're going to have a writing block and an editing block. Please don't do it all in one go. There is that, saying that you should write drunk and edit sober. You don't need to write drunk, obviously, but definitely with the writing, keep it separate to the editing, because you really do want to be able to get it out. And often, when you leave some space between that process, that download process, and you come back, you can refine your ideas and you get a better outcome if you separate the process. So I encourage you to have a writing block on your calendar, no matter what your role is in your business, no matter where you are in your business, whether you're doing all of it or almost none of it. But this really helps to refine your ideas and not to outsource our genius to AI like we've been speaking about in other episodes. All right, the 5th one is email. Now, the reason I'm saying email is clearly you'll be doing email. Most of us do email. But I see too many people who get distracted with their email. So they'll be in there 14 times a day or more, and their day is really dictated by what other people want from them. And that's a big problem when you're a CEO of your company and you want to be leading your time. You want to be really deciding what happens in your business and when, and you've got things you want to do. But if you're stuck in your email, then you're not doing what you want to do. You're doing what everybody else wants you to do, or whatever you're giving to them. So I'm not saying to not do it, but definitely have a block on your calendar when you check email, maximum twice a day. Unless you're in customer service, okay, then maybe 3 times a day. But you don't want to live in your inbox. There's very few people on your team that need to live in their inbox, if any, because again, that's still a pull on their time. And so ideally, what I do in my business is in the morning, after my morning routine, after I've done everything I need to do, before I jump into Monday.com, which is our project management system, is I will scan through my emails and I will see if there's any urgence or see if anything I don't expect. But I won't typically open any unless there's an emergency. And that happens, I don't know, not even once every 6 months, that there is something so urgent that can't wait to the end of the day. Sometimes I will check and open an email just in case. Like even today, for example, I had an urgent email. It wasn't actually urgent, so I closed it again and now I'm here. And I will go back to that email after I've recorded these podcasts, because I have this as a time block and I've kicked the kids out of the house, so I'm not going to take that. Sounds horrible. I asked my husband to take the kids to the playground and he joyfully said yes. And so I have a limited block. I can't do email now because then I can do email later. I can't record this later without a lot of noise. So we really need to be in control of our time in that way. So please have an email time block. Put it after what you have to do. My email time block is really towards the end of the day. Typically, it's not an emergency. Typically, people can wait a few hours for a response, and you can make sure that your team knows that up front. You can make sure your clients know that up front. If you need to have a secondary way of people contacting you, then you can have that. So for example, my EA knows that she can WhatsApp me if there's something that's urgent, if she needs my attention. And that's what she'll do. And then I'll be checking that a lot more frequently, probably between each task. I'll be looking at my phone to see what's going on there. But I won't be in my inbox. I don't have any other notifications on except for that. And that really helps to keep me focused and get what I need to get done in the day. And I really encourage you to do the same. And people really struggle with this. So baby steps, maybe put 2 time blocks, a morning and an afternoon. Let me know how you go, because this is a really big one for productivity. All right, number 6, we need a team meeting on the calendar. A full team meeting. You really want to have a time frame to get on the same page with your entire team, build that rapport, build that community, making sure that everyone's talking to one another. It doesn't have to be every day, once a week, whatever kind of suits your team. When I had a bigger team, we would meet for kind of 10-15 minutes every single day. Now our team meeting is weekly and I just meet with my EA every single day. So that is what works for me now. And that is what worked for me then. And I would encourage you to really think about, are you having too many meetings? Are you meeting just for the sake of it? What is the outcome of the meeting? Do you have an agenda for each meeting? Because if you don't, it's probably not as effective. And we don't need to meet as much as we think that we need to. Often very few things actually need a meeting. And in this case, the team meeting is really more for that team feeling and as a touch base to make sure that everyone is connecting. So that is really important. Please have that on your calendar. And the last one is sales. If you do not have sales on your calendar or on the person who owns sales, their calendar, then you are not in control of your cash flow. which means you are not in control of your business. And most people are not in control of their cash flow and their businesses. Most agency owners and freelancers do not have sales on their calendar. You are leaving so much money on the table. You are leaving your growth on the table if you don't have sales on your calendar. Now, what the actual activities of this look like will be different for all of us, but for most people, this will either be direct outreach or they will be doing ads for direct outreach, and this sales block will be follow-up. For some of you, it will be both. You will be doing direct outreach and you will be doing ads. And so having a process around sales and follow-up, which we're going to do an episode on in a couple of episodes, is key. Now, perhaps sales, if you're a freelancer, is actually more like you on Instagram connecting with your dream 100 ideal clients, or it's DMing people. Maybe it's the block where you send emails. Maybe it's the block when you're on LinkedIn and you're engaging and sprinkling some love for everybody. What it actually looks like is really different for everybody, but we must have a time block for sales on our calendars, or again, we do not control our calendar. Now, if you would like a copy of the CEO schedule template that we use inside Agency Academy, then you can follow the link down below and you can get a free copy of that. Now, what this actually is it maps out your week depending on the stage of business that you're in. So it gives you examples of planning out your priorities, really setting your well-being activities on your calendar first, choosing your freedom first, so you're really building this freedom first business, and then including all of these things that we've talked about today plus others onto your calendar, and then how that might evolve as your business evolves. So we've got different versions of this, from when you're getting started and maybe you're actually working full time and this is a side hustle, all the way up to you have a sales team running marketing and sales for you and you're in a different role. So no matter where you are in your journey from freelancer to CEO and owner and beyond, this CEO schedule template is going to help you to think about strategically and intentionally your schedule. Like, your schedule is your time. Your time is your life. So we really want to be intentional and we want to enjoy our businesses and we want to make the most out of every minute that we're working. And this is how we create leverage. It's by being intentional, by putting the right things in the right order. And the schedule template is a really great place for you to start to think about this in a new way. So if you would like a copy of that, get the link down in the show notes or the link below if you're watching the video. And that's it from me for today. So with that, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.